Welcome to Detour, the video podcast from design team of Make My Trip. As India's travel super app, Make My Trip helps millions of our users go places. Stay, experience, and explore the world around us. With Detour, we share what makes the design team tick, what excites us, inspires us, our challenges, learnings, and insights. So join us on this detour.
Hi, I'm Jay, and I head the design team for Make My Trip and GoIBibo. Thanks for joining me on this detour. In this episode, we are going to be discussing how we hired, onboarded, and expanded the design team in middle of a pandemic. Of course, in the process, we learned a lot and a few takeaways for you if you are a job seeker or if you're a hiring manager. You might be asking, why are we hiring? Aren't we a travel company? Things are on the standstill. Of course, things are changing very slowly, though. The reason why we are hiring is something different. We usually get 50 million users every month, but these are not typical months. The 50 million user number has dwindled a little. Now, given that, we thought it's time to take out all those ideas that we have packed away and stored away in the latter day boxes. Bright ideas, brilliant ideas, useful ideas, must-do ideas, things which in a day-to-day get missed out. It's time to revisit and time to implement that. That's why we need to expand our team. That's why we are hiring. Since April, we have been talking to hundreds of people, of which from that pool, we hired 10 talented people. Of course, me and the team get paid to also do hiring. But then let's look at the process from the point of view of the interviewees, the job seekers. So we'll get into that first. Post that in the episode, we'll come back to the hiring manager perspective. So joining me today are Mirani Biswas from Calcutta, who's joined us as a UX writer, and Sarthak V, who's joined us as a UX designer from Bangalore. So welcome Sarthak, welcome Mirani.
Thanks a lot, Jay. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Great. Let's start with asking Sarthak. Sarthak, I think we have made a fantastic choice hiring you. So do you feel the same way? Did you make the right decision?
Absolutely. Getting a chance to work with a market leader is an opportunity that I did not want to pass on. It's been over a month now for me, and I'm settling down into my first project. I had a great onboarding session. I enjoyed getting a chance to understand more about the business through the immersion program. So I'm settling in right now, and it's been really good. So I'm enjoying my work here.
Fantastic. Mirani, you're from Calcutta, the land of football and food.
Yes.
Now, we have a theory. A theory is that these 10 people joined us recently because they never got a chance to taste the canteen food at MMT Bangalore. So you are headed for Bangalore someday when the pandemic is all over and done with.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the food doesn't agree with you. What would you do?
I'm the wrong candidate to ask the question because I've been into working out and dieting for over 2 years now. So I'm entirely into homemade food. So on the days that you actually find me in the canteen would be the days, they are the good days for me. So cheat diet days. So I'll actually be happy and no complaints at all.
Right. Great to hear that. So yeah, you might actually enjoy the days when you have the canteen food. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. Oily
Great.
food, some days, absolutely happy me.
Right. Actually, I mean, I'm beginning to miss it as well. It's been such a long time that we haven't had that food at all.
Right.
So yeah, completely
And
understandable.
I'm dying to go to office. I haven't even seen the office yet. So yes, enough of work from homes.
Right. So Sarthak, in 2010s, it would have been unimaginable for anyone from ClearTrip to come to Make My Trip, because ClearTrip obviously invested a lot of time, effort, energy into product and design. But 2020s, here you are moving from ClearTrip to Make My Trip. What's changed? What gave you the confidence?
Right. So for me, basically, when I was actually looking at companies, one of the things that I was looking at was the value of design that a company has within the company, and also trying to understand how the company was positioning itself to face the pandemic. If you look at the focus on design, for example, like you mentioned, one of the founders of ClearTrip was actually a designer, which kind of made it natural for design to be a core focus of the product development process in ClearTrip. As far as my understanding goes, Make My Trip, on the other hand, in 2010 was more focused on driving business and growth. But over the years, we could see a change in how MMT has actually shaped itself and how design has influenced the company overall. So one of the examples or one of the instances would be when I was working at ClearTrip as a designer, I would actually be working on design problems, and we would also see how other companies would be doing it. And Make My Trip being a market leader, we would obviously be looking at them. And some of the times that we could see whatever the solutions that they had made, a lot of them were quite elegant and impressive, which kind of gave us the understanding that things are changing over there. There's a new shape and influence of growing value of design in the company. Combine this with the fact that MMT currently has one of the biggest design teams in the industry, which also shows or gives a sign about the growing value of design in the company. So, in the current scenario, which is probably the worst crisis the world has ever seen, the fact that MMT was hiring was a pleasant surprise for me. Two things stood out for me. One was the financial capability to hire people, plus the hunger to come back stronger in the post pandemic era. Combine this with the fact that MMT is actually a market leader and the growing influence of design. This all of this coming together made it a very interesting value proposition. So yeah, more or less these two things stood out for me while I was making this decision to join Make My Trip. Cool. Let's do
Right.
it.
So Sarthak, you've not met any of us. You've not been to the office. What helped you make that leap of faith?
Right. Exactly. So again, like there were two aspects to this. When I was looking at how to actually judge companies, I have my own personal compass, which basically has two main metrics. One is the overall culture of the company and how it treats its employees. And second is getting an insight into the team with whom you will be working on a day-to-day basis. So if we consider the first aspect of understanding the overall culture or the core DNA of the company, this started off for me from the interview process. So right from the beginning, I would like to call out Kanupriya, who was my HR point of contact, and she had handled the entire process quite smoothly. Small things like I had asked for an extension to complete the assignment as I was working on two assignments together. I had requested her if she could speed up the final process, the final rounds of the interview process. And throughout all of this, there were no hiccups, which gave me an understanding of how the company actually treats its candidates. This was, I considered to be like a proxy for how the company treats its employees. Second thing was getting an insight into your team. This was basically, again, started off through the interview process. My first round was with Akash, and I started off the interview and I asked him, let's do a time check. Let's see how much time do we have and how many projects we can cover. And he was quite considerate. He said, don't worry, I'm done with my day. I don't have anything on my plate right now. We can talk for as long as you're okay with. So for me, that was very nice. And we went on for like close to 2.5 hours, which was something that had never happened to me before. This was one of the first times that an interviewer had actually spent so much time trying to understand my work. And as I like to talk more about my projects, that was like a win-win situation for me. After that, in the final round, I got a chance to talk to you, Surbhi, Parth, and Gaurav. All of them experienced designers, so it was a bit intimidating at first, but I gradually eased into the conversation. I really like the questions that were posed to me and the overall vibe of the conversation. So yeah, basically a good supportive culture, overall culture of the company, and getting a chance to work with curious and considerate designers gave me the leap of faith to join MMT.
Great. Thanks, Sarthak. I think I love the reference to the compass. And I think that's a great takeaway for anyone. What's your framework or what's your compass with which you're going to evaluate or judge a company in these times? Especially since you won't be meeting anyone face to face. You won't be going to an office and you won't be tasting the canteen food either.
Right.
So, talking about compass, let me just go to someone whose compass has been a little all over. Mirani, you've not had a great start to 2020. Job loss, cyclone, all sorts of crazy things. Of course, a pandemic in the middle of a pandemic. Tell us a little about that.
Yes, to begin with the job loss scenario, I lost my job around March. That was just before the lockdown was announced, and I wasn't even sure whether how long this is going to go on. I was honestly a little taken aback, but I was also concentrating on the fact that I did have around a year and a half savings. So I was considerably calm. I was only looking at the fact that I'm alive and I'm safe, and so is my mom. So because this is a year of surviving, right? Year of survivals. But the other factor was I was getting calls, so I was calm overall. And as you know, finally in 2 months I did get through to MMT. But I think people who are losing jobs now at this stage, it is way more difficult for them because the job market is much more saturated, and now nothing matters because organizations, especially startups, might not have that kind of money. So I have had a fairly easy ride that way. Moving on to Amphan, well, that was an experience. Uh, in the sense, it was extremely scary. I would never want to experience something like that ever again. I mean, I was here in Calcutta during ILA, and it has never been like this. I remember in the evening, just when Amphan hit, I mean, it didn't even make landfall. There was just raging sound, howling sound outside, and windows just burst. They didn't break, they burst because of the low pressure. Latches gave way. My bathroom latch, my veranda latch gave way because of the low pressure outside. There was water throughout. I mean, I am in a second floor apartment where there are buildings around. I'm not on the 40th floor, and there was water throughout. Mom and I, we were like scuttling inside the house. My room was fairly dry. I remember we slept on the floor that day because we were scared that if we were on the bed, if the other windows burst, we would be hit, and the furniture just to be safe. So that was what happened. But overall, I think the takeaway was that we are alive and we'll remember this for the rest of our lives.
Right. I think it's been a year of staying alive, pretty much thing. And
Right.
Amphan was a cyclone of some devastating
Yes,
proportions, which hit West
absolutely.
Bengal and the eastern coast of India. I remember that you were interviewing in the middle of Amphan. I mean, there's a pandemic outside, and there's a cyclone just hit.
Right.
What was it like? I mean, yours is an extreme case, but any tips, takeaways, survival strategies for things which are so massive and so much beyond your control? I mean, any tips and takeaways for that?
Right. I think again, I had a dash of luck in the sense the interview, the final round with Gaurav, like Sarthak said, it was intimidating, but I didn't know it would be that intimidating. Honestly, I think I totally underestimated you guys. I'm like, it'll be okay, it'll be fine. But I will be honest, the first 10 minutes it was unnerving because everybody's asking everything. I'm like, what am I going to do now? But okay, moving on to the time frame. So it was, I had asked for around 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, and it totally slipped my mind that Amphan is going to hit on the 20th. I think on the 19th morning, I mailed Kanupriya, not knowing whether she would revert, and I have to thank her. She within an hour she came back with a new time, and the team was accommodating. So thanks to everybody. So they gave me around 12 in the noon. But by the time also it was raining cats and dogs, and I was extremely apprehensive that the power might go off or the internet might go off. But there was one thing that was going on in my mind was I need to give my best, job or no job. I am not going to regret thinking because I was scared I couldn't answer this or I wasn't my best. So I didn't want to regret that. So I gave my best. And a takeaway from the entire episode was you need to be yourself. Doesn't matter your situation, life goes on. You have an opportunity, grab it, do your best. So I was scared. There was, of course, there was something going on in my head. What if not? Yes. But the good thing was I wasn't desperate for the job. As I said, I did have savings. So I kept on saying, if not, it's okay, it's fine. So anybody who is interviewing even now on the online front, they should remember to be genuine. They should forget that they are not in a face-to-face zone or whatever. They should just be themselves and have genuine responses. I think everything else will fall in place.
Great. I still remember, like, we had this conversation and Amphath had already hit by then. And I think there was no internet. I think the phone lines were so patchy. And I think we kept jumping because obviously your other interviews had been done by then. And so yeah.
You and I mean, I was feeling so bad, remember, right? After, I think, a week off Amphan, and there was the final call with you. I'm like, what if he like judges me on that? But then I'm like, no, he's a Bong, he'll understand.
No, I think anytime a cyclone hits some community, I think you got to understand. I mean, it's a miracle that we managed to connect and we managed to speak as well. So I think that's always a big luck, as you mentioned.
From what I hear, even now there are areas without internet connection. Even now, like of May till now, because there are poles that has been uprooted, poles which are like years old. They have been uprooted and they still cannot find the main connection. So that's what is happening from what I heard. I think overall I've been fairly lucky. So like you said, I lost my job and this pandemic and all of that, but I think it's been all good.
Great, Mirani. So good to have you with us. Moving to Sarthak. Sarthak, I think a couple of things which Mirani mentioned, and just to sort of build on that, when we were interviewing you, you of course were not looking at the camera. You were looking somewhere up there. And it wasn't a particularly bright day. It was very dark. This is exactly usually the opposite of what, all the influencers and all those podcasts and Medium posts tell you. Put the camera, look at the interviewer, have lots of bright lights, everything. So Sarthak, what worked?
Yeah. First of all, is the lighting okay? Is the camera position fine? Yeah. Okay.
All good. This time it's all good.
This time it's fine. It's ready to the interview, but I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
Cool. So I think I did a decent job at the assignment. One thing that I realized in my past interviews was the fact that when I'm looking at the screen, it's hard for me to think. And I wanted to try to tackle that in some way. I knew this was the final round that I was going to do. And essentially, I said to myself, let's try and answer all the questions as well as possible. And if I'm any good, they'll hire me. At the end of the day, it's your talent and aptitude. And if you can showcase that well, there's a good chance of cracking the interview. So I think I was so concentrated on actually doing that part of the interview well that I actually lost focus on the visual aspects of the interview, which is the writing, the position, the posture, and all of that. So in hindsight, I should have done a lot better in that aspect of the interview. And for all the future candidates who are applying to Make My Trip, please do not do what I did. That is not the way to do a final round online interview. But yeah, what's done is done. I think you did a good job by hiring me, and I'll make sure you don't regret it.
I think what worked in case of Sarthak, and Mirani has just mentioned that as well, is just being yourself, being who you are. And I think that's what employers look for, because eventually we are looking to add to our team, and we're looking to add people who are what they are. I think rather than put up a show and a facade, I think being authentic is the best strategy that I can ever have, offline or online or any line. Last question before we go, Sarthak, and Mirani and you both did a test or an assignment, as we call it. So we have been having these assignments for a very long time. the assignments don't relate to any of our real life flows or features. Nothing that's there in any of the app is part of the assignment.
Right.
And there's a reason for that, and we'll touch upon that later. But what do you think? Was the assignment a good test of your skills? What did you think about the assignment?
Right. I think the assignment was quite interesting in sense of the problem that we were asked to solve. I was actually happy with the fact that it did not relate to any of the existing features because if it did, then it gives you a sense that maybe this company is trying to crowdsource its own design problem, which is always a red flag. But the thing was that as I started doing it, I realized that the scope of the project or the assignment in itself was a bit too broad. And I had to chunk it down in order to accommodate for the entire work I could do in like four days of time. So I guess that is also something that you were judging through the submission. But overall, even scoping takes time and you lose some time in doing that, and you have to do the best you can with the remaining time you have left. So I would say in terms of testing of my skills, it was a good assignment in terms of showcasing my overall design process and scoping down the problem. But I would actually argue that I would have definitely taken it up a notch in terms of solving a problem in depth, in a lot more depth, I would say, and showcasing my visual design skills had the project scope been a little smaller.
Sure. No, that's great to hear. Mrinalini, one very quick question for you. Now, we haven't had a very thought through assignment for UX writers. What did you think about your test? Because it was a fairly, what should I say, fairly jugaad put together sort of assignment and again, we knew that you're in the middle of all these things. So yeah, what were your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I think it wasn't that easy. I'll tell you why. Because the moment I looked at it, I thought I can do this in like 30 minutes. But the thing about that assignment was the moment you think, you know that there are different ways of looking at it. I'll just give one example because I have come from a travel background. So there was one about somebody getting a cab, right? So, and there was this very short character count. And I realized that it was mentioned in the problem that make sure that the person is in a meeting. So the person is in a meeting and he or she is receiving that message. Please understand, I had to think that maybe she'll only look at the pop-up and not look at the entire message. And it wasn't there in the problem. It was something that I needed to think through. And Shrishti even asked me, like, so what I did was on the heading, I put in the ETA and I put in that the color of the vehicle along with the last 4 digits of the vehicle number, right? And then once the person opens the message, the person sees the name of the cab driver, etc. So Shrishti said, was this a conscious call? I said, yes. So a person, a writer, whoever is writing might think that message. So I will be like, okay, your indica is coming XYZ time. And then the rest, which is crucial information like the cab number might be inside the message. So I think that was actually thought through, and it was for a writer, I needed to think through the problem that the person is in the meeting and might not look at the message or open the message, and it will be just be the pop-up. So I thought it was pretty comprehensive, and it made me think more. It was easy, but it made me think. And I think as a writer, you need to do that. You need to think of the problem before you write anything. So it took me 3 days, to be honest. I mean, of course, there were other problems, but together, yes, it took me 3 days.
So for 30 minutes to 3 days, and I think
Yes.
the interesting part, of course, is that we did do a googly there. But remember, the assignments is not about what is often asked. It's not what often is mentioned, or it's a lot of implication that is there. So Mrinalini and Sarthak, before you go, I have a few quick questions for you. So let me start with Mrinalini.
Right.
Mrinalini, once this pandemic is over, where's the first place that you would go on a holiday? Note the word holiday, not work.
Right. Actually, I would like to go to Munnar and I would like to do a solo trip. I would like to drive down through the Ghat section. I haven't done it before. So that's something I'm looking forward to. But of course, before that, I want to go back to Bangalore. I mean, I'm missing that place. So yeah.
Right. What's one thing where you wish you had with you during the pandemic, during the lockdown, and you, of course, cannot say Wi-Fi? I'm sure you missed that.
More makeup.
And why is that? I'm very curious now.
I shop like mad. Like whether I use it, I want it, I don't want it. I have over 50 pairs of shoes and I only wear sneakers and some 1 or 2 heels. But that's the person I am. I don't know whether that's good or bad, but I'm an impulsive shopper. So yeah, I'm missing all of that. I left everything in a hurry back there in Bangalore. So that way I want to go back, clean my stuff and put it back in place. So yeah.
Uh-oh. Fingers crossed for that. Briani, last question for you. What's the most badly designed object that you own?
Can't actually think of a badly designed object, but I have plenty of badly designed clothes. As I said, I'm an impulsive buyer. So yes, I just buy something on an impulse and I come back home and I'm like, I just bought it 30 minutes back and I don't like it. So yes, that way.
Okay, moving on to Sarthak. Sarthak, what's one place that you would go once the pandemic is over?
Right.
On holiday.
On a holiday, I would like
On
to
a
go
holiday,
to Portugal actually. I have some unfinished business left. I have some stuff that I need to take and come back home. So yeah, that's probably the place I'm going to go.
So that's a business trip combined with a holiday.
Holiday, yeah. Portugal is a great place to go. Yeah.
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 Great. And who would you go with?
If anybody's accompanying me, I have no issues. But I'm trying to go alone because it's like I said, it's a business trip plus a holiday. So let's just get this thing done.
Great. So Sarthak, what's one thing that you missed in the middle of the lockdown?
A cook.
Okay. And what's a badly designed object that you own?
I've recently started using it. It's Microsoft Outlook.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Sarthak and Mirani. Wonderful having you both with us. Enjoy. We'll see you soon in Bangalore once it reopens. Until then, stay safe.
Yes, thanks for
Thanks a lot, Chen.
Switching gears, let's move from the job seeker perspective to the hiring manager or the interviewer perspective. Joining me now are two MMT veterans, Srishti Gupta and Akash Kumar. Both of them with me have been doing a bucket load of interviews in the last few months. Akash is a veteran of 8 years. He is a director of design at MakeMyTrip. And Srishti is a UX manager at MakeMyTrip. Welcome, Akash. Welcome, Srishti.
Thanks, Jay.
Thanks for having us.
For the nice welcome. And yes, you're spot on. I'll be completing 8 years next month. So thanks for that.
Right. Yeah, we have had some debate on whether it's 8 years or 7 years, because I've been hearing 7 years for the last 3 years. But it's good to know that you're 8 years actually, kind of great. Srishti, I believe you went away from Delhi because the whole balancing act of work from homes and cooking was getting kind of crazy. So who's cooking now, Srishti, and how's the food?
The food is great. And right now, most of the cooking is done by my mom.
Wow.
So all the credit to her. And yeah, right now, mostly I'm enjoying home cooked, homegrown veggies. And yeah, living the life, feeling quite lucky to be spending this time with my family.
A big thanks to your mom, Srishti, because she helps you keep this whole team productive kind of thing. Thanks to your greater sort of participation that way. But it sounds lovely to have garden sort of grown vegetables and all of that. By the way, Srishti, for a lot of people viewing here, where's Kapurthala?
Kapurthala is a beautiful little town in the state of Punjab.
Okay, great. Switching gears and switching over to Akash. Akash, all the interviews so far have been seeing an open window behind you. It's always sunny, whatever time of the day or night. There is gentle breeze and it's always kind of the curtains are flowing. You get full marks for consistency. question is, who or what are you waiting for?
So basically, the sun never sets on my window. But right now, I guess it should be the vaccine everyone should be waiting for. And typically, it is the outdoors that I miss. So probably that's why I keep this background. It also reminds me of my office desk that has a really nice view.
Great. Yeah, I remember from the 18th floor window of yours. Yeah, you can see the whole of Gurgaon spread out below, kind of. So yeah, actually missing that view. Yeah, right. Great. Akash, online interviews. This isn't the first time we are using Zoom. We have been using Zoom for the past 4 years. And since I'm in Bangalore and majority of my team is in Gurgaon, Zoom is what has been helping us connect in the last few years. But what's changed now? What's different?
I guess the biggest change is that Zoom is now the only mode of interaction. Earlier, it used to be one of the modes, and eventually you would meet the candidate face to face. But at the same time, what we need to remember is that it's just one part of the entire selection process. And all other parts like CV, portfolio, and also the assignments are still the same. So overall, I would not put a lot of weightage on this change. It's all about how well you adapt and adopt.
Great. I think that's absolutely well put, because there have been times when I have actually done a complete interview online where I haven't been to Gurgaon, or the candidate we couldn't bring down to Bangalore. So some of them have actually happened in the past, much rarer, as you said. Srishti, a lot of times when candidates come to meet us in person, I think some of the best times that we interact with them is during a chai break or a cigarette break or at lunch. Of course, none of that is happening because those informal small talk is not happening at all. Mm-hmm. How do you build that confidence to hire a person?
So replacing the in-person contact is a tough nut to crack, Jay, and we're still learning. We're trying to improve with every mistake that we make, and we have made a few. But there are a couple of things that we've started to do that are a step in the right direction. For instance, every candidate that is interviewed, they're vetted by a number of experienced designers so that no bias can creep in. And once the interview is done, we actually touch base and try to find out whether a person is going to go ahead in the hiring process. And of course, we have to also be as prompt as possible to help out our HR partner. Shout out to Kanupriya. She must be really getting unraveled because we are always contacting her. We're always bombarding her with doubts, questions, and feedback, of course, on our candidates.
Great. I think, Srishti, you mentioned something very important, bias. I have a bias. I get biased when I see a CV with spellos and typos. I'm sure each of us has some bias, and I think recognizing the bias is the first step to overcoming it. But what's your bias, Akash?
I guess everyone has some biases. For me, it's when probably the biggest one is when I see a resume with a list of skill sets that are rated on a 5-point scale. Whenever I see it, I'm like, how do I assess it? What does this measurement in 5-point scale even mean? By the way, just to tell you, I once found a CV with 7-point scale as well. But that's a discussion for some other time.
Great. What about you, Srishti? What's your biases?
I have one. When a candidate is ill-prepared for a round where they have to portray their past work, especially if I ask you for your portfolio and you start to show me a sketch file, that to an unstructured sketch file, that interview is going downhill for me then.
Great. I think it's, yeah, please.
I think it's important to, be prepared that way to be able to show your past work. It says something about the diligence and presentation skills of a person.
Sure. I think, that makes sense, Srishti. Akash, how do you overcome your biases?
I guess there are two parts to it. So one, CV is secondary to portfolio for me. Secondly, the reality is resume making and portfolio creation to some extent, or rather greatly is something we are never taught at. And it's not something that is straightforward. Here you are supposed to summarize your life's work in a couple of pages in such a way that the person reading it who has never met you gets the point you are trying to convey. People just see and follow others, and with some personalization they make here and there. And of course, that can't work. By the way, there is one incident I'd like to call out. I recently got a chance to have a look at my first portfolio. And I was like, how did I get hired? How? So I'm thankful to my first boss for giving me a chance to learn and grow. And hence, I also like to keep these biases curbed while hiring talent. That's very important, I feel.
Yeah, and as Srishti also mentioned that, there are many people looking at the candidate. So one part that we try and actively do, if Srishti believes that this is going downhill, there are 5 people who might actually not agree with her. So I think that's a great way for us to also kind of make sure that individual biases don't creep in pretty much. So that's one way. Of course, I mean, nothing can be foolproof, but that's the right step that we always take. So Akash, earlier we spoke to both Mrunalini and Sarthak about assignments, and recently the design managers at Make My Trip came together to rethink the assignment completely. So what's the thought behind it, and what's changed now with the new assignment? Of course, not that I'm expecting you to give out all the questions, but yeah, what's changed and why?
Oh yes, that has been the hot topic. So Surbhi and team have actually redesigned the assignment format. To put it briefly, what we have done is to move from steak meal to a nice Rajasthani thali. That's how I would put it. We actually got rid of a long assignment that candidates used to do and broken it up into a set of 3-4 small assignments. That helps us to assess all facets of a designer, which is very important. As well as it lets the candidates express themselves in a much better way. They have much more flexibility, much more freedom over there. We earlier spoke about biases, and here too, we took care of those. If we have an assignment that asks the designers or the candidates to design something that we at MMT do day in, day out, then we are bound to have some bias towards our processes. So what we have done is, instead of having anything to do with travel, we ask the candidates to design for a myriad of things, be it a zoo or a magic shop for all, or maybe even the government. Another very important aspect that we like to test is around copy. We feel that it is also a very important part of UX, but many a times it gets ignored.
Great, Akash. I think Akash mentioned earlier, and I think I'm just putting together from Sarthak and Akash. What Sarthak mentioned is that when you give tests from an existing feature or a flow of the app or of the website, very often the perception might be that they're getting something done for free. They're getting ideas for free. That's one aspect of it. But again, just going back to what Akash mentioned and what we believe in strongly, if I were to give an assignment from a flights or hotels, which is what we do day in, day out, obviously we would know way more than the candidate could ever think or fathom, really, kind of thing. That would naturally bias us, that anything that you do, you would have to work very hard to reach our level. And it's just that we have been lucky enough, or that's where probably we have been in the last 2, 3, 5, or in Akash's case, 8 years. So it's probably unfortunate that you should never ever give an assignment from your own domain. It can be from a related domain, or it can be from a flow in a related domain which you have never touched. So for us, each assignment is always something that we look forward to. It's also refreshing for the hiring managers, because you just get bored looking at the same thing. So as Akash mentioned, the Rajasthani thali with a wide variety and some space for UX writing. We believe that that's the future. Moving on, Srishti, onboarding. Now that's not an easy one in the online world. Typically, a candidate would come into the office and within like 5 to 7 days would put lots of names and faces together, would know the many stakeholders, would see where they sit, would get to know the team, how we work, physically kind of get a laptop. All of that is now not happening anymore. So how do we tackle the onboarding challenge?
So yeah, Jay, it is in fact a challenge. Like I said before, we are still learning. We're trying to fine tune our hiring process to the remote environment. And every time we think we've got the hang of it, some new surprise happens. I remember this one time, a person that we were interviewing accidentally joined in on somebody else's onboarding meeting. That was a goof up just because some Zoom link mishaps. But yeah, each time we're trying to make ourselves better by learning from our mistakes. We're trying to treat this pandemic as an opportunity to grow rather than just a challenge. So, we've been doing a lot of things. We've created documents for newly hired recruits. Things like what to expect in the first week of joining MMT, or what and who are the most crucial folks, and some crucial links that you need, like things like LMS, getting your VPN set up, etc. Making sure that you have your libraries set up so that you're able to hit the ground running, so to say. We've also created a team intro so that all the folks that are joining in remotely, they're able to know what our culture is like, what are some of the things that we do in our free time, what are some of the random stuff that has happened over all the offsite trips of the past. And we also try to make sure that our new joinees are able to start working faster by delivering the laptop to them rather than expecting them to go pick it up from anywhere. It's actually delivered to their doorstep. So I think that really helps. And speaking of team bonding, we also do a number of Zoom catch-ups that are essentially their non-agenda, no work-related talk. In fact, strictly no work-related talk, sort of BYOB team-wide catch-ups that we do. And it's really just a fun time where we're able to see the entire team. We play fun games and do activities like, hold competitions about whose Zoom background is the wackiest. And shout out to Bhavna and Isha for, always trying to make sure every pajama party, that's what we call those sessions, every pajama party is better than the last. So yeah, these are some things that help us, keep a sense of the team and stay together.
That's great. I think so. Just to sort of to recap, we have actually been struggling a little bit with our onboarding, but hopefully we have finally got there. And the pajama parties are of course great. I think that's what we are probably working in most of the time. So fantastic way to bond. Just because the team is fairly large, it just does take a little bit of time to do any round robins, even funny things or jokes or songs or whatever that we do. Moving on to Akash. Akash, if you were interviewing today, as in you were a job seeker, what were the 2 or 3 things that you would focus on a lot?
Sure. So, well, first and foremost thing would be that I would like to be myself and not someone else. But that surely doesn't mean I would be unprepared or shabby. What I mean is I would not want to act in front of the camera. Also, I would like to be really well prepared for the session. I would want to be absolutely clear on what I want to present and be really solid with the flow and not be all over the place at all. That's something which I feel is like very important in this current scenario of online only interactions that are happening. So these are the things I'll definitely take care of.
Great. Nothing. Don't forget to upgrade your portfolio as well.
Oh yeah,
the one you mentioned, right?
I better.
Right. Moving to Srishti. Srishti, for hiring managers, and I think within our own team of the many managers that we have discussed this at length. Should we replace assignments with an Indian Idol sort of a show, or how do we hire? How do we hire better? How do we remove bias? How do we kind of get to the end of the hiring process faster? So we have discussed a whole bunch of it, but I would love to have your thoughts on any tips or takeaways for hiring managers.
So firstly, it's important to adapt your hiring process to the remote environment. We are not perfect ourselves, but I like to think we're headed in the right direction. one tip would be to include a well-made design task. I think we've spoken enough about, how, what really makes a good design task. But yeah, I mean, it has to be something that is relevant to the current scenario. And like was mentioned before, it should be something that people can do easily with the change in their work environment. There's a lot more, balls up in the air now that folks are working at home and, living in the same shared spaces, and a lot of challenges that way. Now more than ever, I think it's important to give people the space to be human and just sometimes understand if things are not ideal, just give them a benefit of doubt there. I think that's also important.
Yeah, just like what we heard with Birani and the situation that she went through, I think
Right.
It's very important to keep those things in mind, especially in the Indian context where you might have a power failure, some glitches. Those things are very, very important. And similarly for job seekers, I think it's very important to make sure that you're having that conversation and being very upfront with the HR partner that's kind of reaching out to you, or the hiring managers that you're speaking to. I mean, unless you speak up, people don't understand. So I think it's both ways. It's very important. On that note, Akash and Srishti, I think I have a thought here. Is that it's been some time, and let me see if I'm fit to be hired or rehired back into my current position at Make My Trip. So just in the spirit of that, I thought, let me just give you the sort of opportunity to interview me. So this is for me to see if I can make the cut and be part of the team at Make My Trip.
Oh, that's a very nice turn of table, Jay. And I hope it's going to be interesting for you as well. Shrishti, what do you say? Let's have some really good questions to Jay.
For sure, Akash, take it away.
So Jay, what brings you to Make My Trip?
Well, I think I heard that Make My Trip helps people go places. And I thought that's a great thing, especially at this time when I'm not going anywhere, not even to my local stores almost, sitting mostly in my pajamas. So I think it's time to go somewhere. So yeah, that's how Make My Trip. I think that's how it happened.
Great.
Okay. So, well, Jay, we haven't received your portfolio. You do have one, right?
I think so. Let me just put together about 76 JPEGs and zip them up and send it over to you. Would that be okay?
Okay, thank you.
I guess you got the gist from Shrishti's answer, right?
Absolutely. I kind of got it. Yeah.
So we see you have worked at Adobe. So how good are you with Photoshop, Jay?
I would say I'm pretty good. I can Photoshop my CV pretty well. But if I were to sort of think about it in terms of, is it a 4.6 or a 3.7 on that 5-point scale? Now that would be a hard one. I can't even just imagine what number to ascribe to that. So that's where I'm struggling. But yeah, I think I've got a few Photoshop tricks up my sleeve.
It would have been really great if you were able to put the number over there. How I don't know.
So, Jay, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years. Now that's a long time. Of course, I hope to see myself on a beach with longer beard, with something interesting in my hand, like a nice little sunset drink kind of thing. But then again, this might be a politically incorrect statement to make in the middle of the interview. Well, do I pass actually? If not, I can rephrase this question again, or rephrase this answer again, of course.
No.
I think that's all right.
That's perfectly all right.
I think we got what we needed.
So we'll calibrate, and our HR partner, Kanupriya, she'll get back to you. All the best to you, but.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, Akash and Srishti. It was great having you. And I think I'm really hoping that I get rehired back into the team and work again with Akash, Srishti, Mirani, Sarthak, and our team. So while I wait for MMT HR to get back to me, hopefully with some good news, I wanted to say a special thanks to you. Thanks for watching with us. Coming up ahead, episodes on building a design system, creating and growing a living library, building a design culture, or seeding the ground for for a design culture, UX writing, UX research, curating events, and much more. So please do join back, and I hope to see you in 2 weeks. A big shout out to the team behind the scenes who keeps Detour on track. Dilpreet, our video editor, Digjot and Bhavna, the exec producers, Smriti, UK Karan and Shiva, a sound and voiceover team, Abhinav, Nitesh, Manoj and Akash for everything from logo to logistics, and an extra special thanks to Sanjay Mohan and Suresh Venkat for their support. And thank you for watching.
Don't forget to like,
Share,
Comment.
subscribe.
And not to miss out on our future videos, hit the bell icon.
Thanks for watching.